Hi, everybody, and welcome to our, second go at episode 4 here. For reasons out of our control, we have, well, a fair amount of people probably know the reasons, but we no longer have Daramiah with us, and instead, we have EpicSanchez, who goes by the CEO of Cupheady on the official Death Battle Discord.
We got him not for this Cupheady episode.
Wait, this episode has Cupheady in it?
Wait, no,
Oh,
I forgot that I made it to the tournament.
Yeah, so that'll be episode 5.
is this episode 4, right?
Yes. So there's this.
Oh, that's fine.
We'll have a little bonus
That's
one.
fine.
And then episode 5. And we record these. We try to get it on like every week, but sometimes due to scheduling, we've had to take weeks off.
That's fine. We're all nice and busy outside of this fan-made ballot banter. I think is that
Yeah,
right?
that's basically what this is. I thought
That's
it
what
would
it
just
is.
be a nice little fun thing to do after, you know.
Oh,
Nothing too serious.
that's
Nothing
cool.
too thing.
Okay.
I
We knew we outlast the original banter.
Well, we have only had 5 episodes, and we're gonna have like 5 episodes and a bonus, and we've been dropping them once every 2 weeks. So
Yeah.
I want to apologize for Sanchez's mic. It's just some noise from a fan AC because it is really hot this time of year, and it's just gonna get hotter.
Yeah, especially down here. It's like 110 right now,
Yeah.
and in my room it's like, I think it's pushing 70. Jesus.
Jeez.
I might end up having to turn a fan on myself, but I think my noise suppression works decently fine on my end. But if it does come through,
but
I do apologize to everybody
Oh,
watching.
okay.
Sometimes these things are just unavoidable. If this was a
Yeah.
more, serious voice acting endeavor, then yeah, we'd be putting in more efforts to cut that out. But this is just casual discussions. As long as you can hear us clearly, then it should all be fine. Anyway, now that the disclaimer's gone through, and I'll probably have had some text up here and there if need be. Let's move on to the first of these submitted matchups that we chose from for the Tournament of Indie Champions. Starting with Dr. Nefarious versus Crow.
From Nefarious.
Which is kind of comical that the names link like that. Given that
I remember.
What was that, Sanchez?
I remember Dr. Nefarious. It was like Villainous. I think it was the creator of Villainous collabed with the creator of Nefarious in past projects before Villainous became a show on Cartoon Network.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
And Nuke, you remember how easy of a setup this is, right? From what I explained to you about Crow.
You're gonna have to say it again. It has been a while since we talked about this one.
Fair enough. So if I remember correctly, Nefarious is a game where you play as Crow, who is a villain, and after his hero quit, he's hopping between different worlds to fight new heroes.
I'm vaguely remembering you mentioning that now.
It reminds me a bit of Villainous. I don't know. I think it's like the premise of the villain being too powerful for the heroes, so he just moves on to other heroes.
Huh.
I think that's the basis. I don't know. I've never played Nefarious before, but that sounds like the premise, I think.
Yeah, Crow.
If I remember, he shows up to try to take over that world.
I'm just imagining the fight starting with Crow having already defeated Ratchet and Clank somehow, and then Nefarious tries to take him on.
I think we can disagree on this about Crow. If there's any like an indie crossover thing of any kind, he should be like the main villain.
It makes sense for how you've described him. It's a good choice. Matchup's pretty good though.
But
I
this
like.
matchup, yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah, like I remember mentioning the first time we recorded the only Nefarious Doctor Nefarious matchup I'd ever seen was General Grievous, which seemed alright.
Which I don't know if this is better than, but
Same. I don't know.
Again, I'd comment right now, but I don't really know too much about Nefarious outside of the villainous collab way back then.
actually, now that I think about it, I think Crow was the main villain of an indie crossover game. What was it? I don't remember the name, but it was like constantly. The characters were constantly jumping. I don't remember.
Oh well, we may as well move on to this simple one. Naughty Bear versus Monokuma. Naughty Bear, I think we looked this up. It was just some random game from the PS2 era.
Ted, if he was dark and fucked up.
Yeah, I think that's what it was.
Okay. Naughty Bear, a sociopathic teddy bear out for revenge and stuffed with evil intentions.
Yeah, I mean, you can see why why this exists.
I mean,
but
I get it. Like murderous, cutesy looking bears out to kill each other.
Yeah, but not really feeling it.
Yeah, you're gonna have to scroll a lot for the next one.
Yeah, and then it's
Which is how do you say that name?
Chiffon.
Yeah, sure.
I'll probably put the word up on screen just so people can understand how we're having such issues pronouncing it.
All right, but and that guy is fighting Carl from Llamas with Hats.
Chiffon. I
Chiffon?
think that's how it's pronounced. I think that's how it's pronounced. Chiffon or chiffon.
Yeah, one of those two.
I think either way.
Seems right.
Connections. Animal characters from YouTube animations whose species are usually seen as innocent and cute. A llama and an axolotl. However, they're both very mentally fucked up and dangerous due to a complete lack of morals. They don't value others' lives in the slightest, finding joy in suffering and seeing people as nothing more than pieces of meat they can play with. And their ability to pull said plans off is uncanny and scary. Yeah, I think I can get the gist of it. Psychopathic, like animals that have complete disregard of everyone else around them.
Yeah, so it seems pretty similar to previous thing with bears. But yes, these are YouTube. These guys are specifically from YouTube animations. So yeah, this seems really good, honestly.
I don't mean to diss the person who made the thumbnail, but it just reminds me of those weird like YouTube videos where they talk about the drama of a person. But we ready to move on? Because I got quite a bit to say about this one for one half.
Yeah, we can move on.
Turbo Mechasonic versus Dark Lord. Super Mario Bros. Z versus
The
animation
versus series, which very, very good stuff there.
Those are the 2D stick fighting guys, right?
Yes.
Super Mario Bros. Z is good if you ignore the creator.
Yeah, I remember watching the shit out of that when I was younger. It was like Sonic beating the shit out of Yoshi.
Oh god. But I like this. This is definitely a good ult for Megasonic.
Yeah.
Sonic has a very good matchup spread in my eyes. I think you can either go with Nazo, the Sonic OC Battle Royale, Devil Mario, or the Dark Lord here.
I was about to say Devil Mario. Devil Mario is my favorite for original Megasonic, but if you want to include metallics in there from the remake, you gotta. I think the best one for that one would be Betty Noir from Glitch Tale.
This one seems pretty good as well, though. I'd be down with this one.
Yeah, this is definitely like the higher end.
This one would never be a Death Battle episode, but
I wouldn't mind seeing it as a fan project.
Yeah, if I saw some other series take it on.
Yeah,
especially with how brutal Animator and Mechasonic can be when it comes to their fighting methods, like straight up Dragon Ball like fighting style.
Yeah, let me post a GIF for Nuke here in case you haven't seen it.
No, I've seen some of the Super Mario Bros. Z stuff. I mean, it's been a while, but I've seen it. It goes hard.
It does go hard, but it's a shame that the creator is a piece of shit.
Yeah, it's kind of like I guess using Harry Potter characters and stuff. The creator is an absolute nightmare, but separate art from the artist type stuff, you know?
Yeah, that's actually kind of why I like Metallics versus Betty Noir more because they have the unintentional connection of being betrayed by piece of shit people.
Alright, moving on, we got CFVs versus Valheim for
Not very
some
knowledgeable.
reason.
Not very knowledgeable on Sea of Thieves or Valheim, but I guess
CFVs is
I
just
did want
open world pirate game made by Rare, and Valheim's another open world game. I don't know who made it, but I just don't see.
what is it going with here? Is it like pirates
We don't
versus
know.
what did they have in Valheim? It looks like from the image, it looks like Vikings or something,
Yeah, it might just be
Yeah,
open world
and
pirates
and
versus
just
Vikings
be
type stuff, but it doesn't seem very good.
reminds me of Deadliest Warrior. You know, like Spartan
Yeah,
versus Ninja
I
or
think
George Washington versus Napoleon.
I
Reminds
think
me of that.
the one matchup like that I would love to see versus show tackle is knight versus samurai. I mean, the knight stomps so hard, or at the very least, composite
I
knight
think it depends.
clearly wins.
Yeah, at their peak, the knight should win.
But I'd love to see
Since
it, and it would be really
yeah,
cool to delve into the history of both knights and
I mean,
samurais.
I remember there being a news article saying that Deadliest Warrior is coming back to Paramount Plus, but I haven't seen it
Oh,
in a while. But I remember it was like last year.
that'd be pretty cool.
Like if they ever bring back Deadliest Warrior, they should do the Knight versus Samurai. That would be a very entertaining fight to see on Paramount.
They haven't already done.
the talk of Knight versus Samurai reminds me of Vampire versus Werewolf.
I'm gonna be real. When I was a kid, I used to think that werewolves would stomp the shit out of vampires
I
because the
think
whole,
vampires would win.
they don't, they don't have, they have savage minds, so they can't be controlled since they don't have a conscious mind. But then realize a
There's
vampire
no way
doesn't give a
that
shit about that.
heck, I think some vampires can straight up turn into werewolves.
Hmm.
So like
Yeah, sometimes in mythology they're pretty much one and the same because a vampire can turn into a werewolf or turn into a wolf.
All right,
it
then
it, it
we gotta move on.
all right, let's yes.
We got King Dice from Cuphead versus Oogie Boogie from Nightmare Before Christmas.
You know,
This is kind of a boastful track.
I'd actually like this fight if Oogie Boogie does anything outside of the movie or that one what was it one PS the PS
Yeah,
game or
there's
the
a video
Xbox
game.
game? I'd actually like this fight if there was anything to draw from Oogie Boogie outside of that.
Well, he's got more to draw from than King Dice, who has Cuphead and the Cuphead show, I
The
The
guess, on
Cuphead,
show.
the
PlayStation.
comic, King Dice has like I think the main game, the Dark Horse comics, and the show.
Wait, there's Cuphead comics?
Yeah,
Yeah, I learned about that
I
recently.
know.
Huh.
They published the Cuphead comics back in 2022. They're releasing another one this year. Actually, it's the fourth installment. It's been a while though.
Huh.
Dark
I
Horse,
think
Dark Horse, and King Features collabed with Studio MDHR to make Cuphead comics.
Cool.
King Features is also the one that owns Popeye and the Fleischer Tunes.
I think I knew that Cuphead stomped Bendy a while ago, but I think the mention of what happens in the comics actually sealed it for Bendy.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, Cuphead pretty much just jumps out of the fourth wall, grabs art utensils, and just erases his ass.
Oh, wow.
Pull a Bugs
Even
Bunny,
if he could,
basically.
Yeah, that's really a
even if
common
he
thing
couldn't
for when you bring characters into comics. They just
Do
end up
wacky shit.
break,
they end up leaving the comic itself and like changing it as it's going.
yeah, like I think SpongeBob did that too.
I wonder
SpongeBob,
if
Bugs.
I wonder if that happens in the Simpsons comics at some point because
I'm
there's a
pretty.
lot
I
of them.
wouldn't be surprised if if there was something to pull from the Simpsons comics. I remember there being a statement from Matt Groening that Homer like Homer didn't want Groening to change his story, and he just ignored Groening trying to change his story or something along those lines.
Damn,
Oh
I might well give him the
But
my
instant
anyways,
ass
god,
Peter
yes.
that he needs.
Yeah,
back to King
he
Dice
can
versus Oogie
ignore the
Boogie.
cutaways.
I think a Fairwolf track would seal this matchup for the King Dice matchup preference for me. Like
This is the one that would definitely have vocals.
this fights, and like if there's going to be someone out there who's commissioning Third Wolf for this matchup, for a matchup track, it has to be, what was it? Minnie the Moocher or something. I forgot his name, but it was. Wait, let me look it up. It was Minnie the Moocher, Old Man in the Mountain, Cab Calloway. Yeah, it has to be a Cab Calloway-esque musical among those lines.
All right, so great matchup. We gonna move on?
It's a really good matchup, in my opinion.
Hey, Nate, can we just skip this next one?
Uh,
Is it too sus?
scroll down a bit, you'll
It's,
see it.
it's
You gotta move past like 3 of them. It should be painfully obvious which one Gilded's talking about.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh god. Oh my.
oh my god, it's even a commission from the one guy.
It's twice, and it's like a matchup for Cuphead that people like. Jesus. Oh my god.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, we're not
No,
talking about that.
move on because that's in
Below
the
that.
yeah.
That's in the TSC.
Next is what's next? Where are we on right now?
It's right below Cuphead versus Bendy in the document.
Oh yeah, the talking toilet versus skibbity toilet.
Yeah.
I feel like we should just skip this
The
because
joke exists. It's not great. Let's move on.
Oh boy.
Skibbity Toilet's the
Skibbity
new
toilet.
Ouija virus.
Skibbity toilets inside Death Battle. That'll be the day that my love life would finally come back to life, which is never.
All right, we gotta go down quite a
If,
ways until we get
if
to.
you ever put Skibbity in there,
Oh, and this one's gonna
if
be
you ever put Skibbity,
on.
Oh god.
let's scroll down a lot.
There's a
Oh
lot
yeah,
of
this one we can't say anything about.
Amaterasu versus Sakuna, which seems to just be a fairly. I mean, we all know Amaterasu from Okami. Sakuna
Yeah,
is from a game called Sakuna of Rice and Ruin, and it seems to sort of be a similar art style,
I
at the
don't
very
know.
least. I don't know about gameplay or anything.
I don't
why do
know
they name the
Sakuna, but
game?
I know Amaterasu. I've seen her in Marvel vs. Capcom before. And like
Yeah,
one of her
yeah.
matchups was like against Ashura at one point.
Oh God.
Asian deities fighting. I get the premise.
I got one question here. Why did they name the game Okami and then completely name the main character after a different god?
I don't know.
I have
Anyway,
no
we
idea.
can't really say anything
Maybe
about this matchup, so we should probably just move on.
yeah. I don't really have any opinions on this matchup. I mean, uh, props to whoever is pushing this. I hope it does get noticed eventually.
Yeah, I mean, if it's a
Oh,
good
it just
matchup,
did.
it'd be nice for Amaterasu to have something that isn't tied to characters that have clearly better options, which I think the two I've seen are, you mentioned Asura, which I hadn't heard about until today, and then there's Arceus, who has Aslan as a perfect matchup, so that's thing.
The next one,
Yes.
Jacket versus Silent Gunner.
Jacket from Hotline Miami, Silent Gunner from my friend Pedro. Or Pedro, I don't know how that's pronounced
I haven't
exactly,
seen
but
either two to give a solid opinion, but I remember seeing trailers for my friend Pedro back in 2020 during the pandemic. It was like burned into my
Yeah.
mind, but it was like it has something to do with shooting,
yeah.
and one of them was like with a banana. Like the
Yeah,
banana's
looking
the
at the
one that stuck out for
connections,
me.
Yeah, the title screen.
connections are really good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind seeing this. Like even as a fan project, it could be fun.
Absolutely.
From what I do know, the visuals of the two, the visuals could be stellar in terms of the style. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's for me. It's hard to describe. It looks like this '80s
Yeah.
like vaporwave looking style. It can work.
Hotline Miami is very much that kind of style.
It's. I mean, we haven't had an '80s vaporwave style in death battle, right?
I don't think we've had something that
Unless
fits
unless
that.
you count Wonder Woman versus She-Ra. I mean,
Eh,
that was for the trailer.
That's not really vaporwave.
no. Anyway,
Ugh.
really good idea. Would love to see it. Let's move on to Taro
Well,
from
or
Downwell versus Barry from Jetpack Joyride. I have no idea what Downwell is, but Jetpack
me
Joyride is
neither.
a very good game. And if this
Jetpack
I
runs,
remember
Joyride
when
is my childhood. Oh my god.
I remember when I was still in like high school. I did a Henry matchup tier list, and for some reason Barry was a really good option, but like not the best,
a
but
tier
a
list
good
for who?
option. Henry Stickmin.
Ah, yeah, I can see why that would be a good option. Uh, but yeah, honestly, this is
A
I,
matchup.
yeah, we can't really say anything about it.
You don't even have the connections.
Sucks. Yeah, I really should have asked for connections when I was getting submissions, which
Yeah.
we'll probably do if we do end up doing a second one, which we've talked about already.
Tournament of Indie Champions 3.
All right, we gotta skip that one,
Oh,
and then we got
I remember when we recorded this the first time. I actually asked the Toho matchup thread what their thoughts on over this.
I feel like we
Hmm.
said it was good, didn't we?
We did, yeah. Oh
Yeah,
yeah. By the way, Sailor Mars versus Rainbow.
yeah, yeah. So I
Sailor Mars
guess
versus.
which, if I'm like I said, like, if I'm remembering correctly, this was a very good idea, and given and probably ends up as my favorite for both, given how the others I've seen for both characters just have better options.
I'm gonna say this right now. We should have done more Toho characters.
Yeah, I
Well,
wouldn't mind
yeah,
there
but we
being
had
Toho
32
characters.
slots, and we picked what we picked.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So a really good matchup. And then moving on, we've got Spectre Knight from Shovel Knight versus Isako from Killer Instinct.
And that's as basic as it gets.
With a very basic
Two video
line of just both were with it for
killed some time in the past and resurrected by undead combatants. I
yeah. So
mean,
just
connections are simple, but I don't think
probably not
connections
very
is
good
like
if it's
everything on matchup.
if that's the only thing. It's probably not very good. All right, we can skip past this one pretty quickly then, and then go to
Hajime Hinate versus
Chidoin.
Sarah Chidoin. Chidoin?
She
I'm
doing,
pretty
she
sure
doing.
it's Hajime Hinate versus Sarah Chidoin. I could be wrong there, but that's how I would pronounce it.
I think Sanchez is saying Chidoin.
And
Chidoin.
She doing. I think
yeah,
she. I
so
think it's she doing, but yeah, I'm probably mispronouncing it.
if I'm remembering correctly, Your Turn to Die is basically inspired by Danganronpa, or at the
Another.
very least, it's a very similar type of gameplay.
Yeah.
So
How
And
would
look
this?
at these
How would,
connections.
this seems to be pretty decent.
how would this
We got
fight? How would it be like in a back and forth for an animation?
That I cannot say because I don't know anything about these two.
I remember. I remember Junko. I remember every single time I think of a Danganronpa match. Sorry if I mispronounced that, but I just think of
no, you got it
Junko
right on.
mostly.
It's either just because I haven't really
1 sec.
tried Danganronpa, but I don't really know how the matchup would work.
I think it would be of great help if, like, what was it? If the original poster would like describe it to us inside the group chat, so we can get a better idea of how it would work. I don't really know how Danganronpa fights work. All I just know is that Junko's like the face of Danganronpa matchups.
Yeah, especially because of Springtrap.
Oh yeah, Junko Trap or something, Junk Trap. You know, the results for that fight was like the results for that fight was like as it's like a teeter totter. It was the Simon versus Kyle of matchups. Like, oh, this character won. No, wait, this character won. This character now wins. But like the current consensus is like Junko can destroy Junko can destroy Afton, but like she can't kill his spirits, especially with a non-standard Monokuma that she doesn't have
Alright,
on her.
I'm back. I was just checking up on my sister.
And we
So
were just talking about Junko versus Springtrap.
Ah.
The thing is, it's hard to actually find a matchup where someone beats Springtrap. I think, you know.
like they have to destroy his soul. Maybe Sans can do it. I think Sans could do it, but the thing is, I'm not so sure how Souls and Undertale function compared to Souls and FNAF, because Souls and FNAF are kind of like they appear, but they can
Burn
also like
away.
disappear. They can like go away and turn intangible or some shit. I don't know.
Mm.
You gotta burn him away. That's what it is.
Yeah, you have to get Toriel. Yeah, Toriel has to burn Afton down. Sorry, kids.
Anyways, the next one is very wordy.
Yeah, it's. By the time we're gonna be done, it's going to be New Year's.
Well, I mean, we don't have to out loud read the connections.
I know, I know. I'm just joking on how long it is.
Yeah. It is Hunter versus Pure Vessel, Owl House, and Hollow Knight.
I remember this way back when. I think it was in 2021. I might be misremembering, but this was a very popular matchup back then, and it's good to see that it persisted up until now.
It does seem to be a
It's
very
it
good
seems
one.
really good.
What does I haven't watched the Owl House in a while. What does Hunter have?
I couldn't tell you.
In terms of
Uh,
magic, what I can remember is definitely some range stuff. He's got the
Like
staff that you can fly around on. He's got a sort of quick step type ability, where he sort of
research, yeah.
teleports a short distance.
Mhm.
well, I'm gonna tell you this. He has the height advantage.
Yeah, all Hollow Knight characters are officially bug-sized. People, let this be known. Anyone telling you otherwise, uh, they're going to break into your house and eat and drink your hot sauce. Jesus Christ.
The hot sauce specifically.
Yes,
Yeah,
but
yes,
yeah,
the hot sauce
it's
specifically.
it's it's fairly similar to other mages. There's
It's.
nothing. I think
I think the only
I'd have
issue
to
with this.
look and figure out exactly
I
what he has, but he's good at fighting.
I think the only issue with this is like if you believe in bug-sized Hollow Knight, there could be a scale issue.
I mean, you just go with
But
Smash Brothers rules and equalize the
yeah, just
sizes
make Hollow
somewhat.
Knight like
Equalized.
just make the character like 3 or 4 feet,
Otherwise, Kirby
and then you upload
characters would
them.
have the exact same problem.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing with mech fights, where the mechs are just on two completely different scales.
Yeah, Kyle
Yeah.
versus Simon. Oh God,
Well, that one doesn't matter too much because Kyle
Harold. Yes,
can make
Harold
well,
sucks
he makes
up.
a mech of his own.
With he can elongate um the concept of a plank, so he should be logically able to make a universe-sized mech if he wanted to.
Yeah. Plus,
He's a Harold.
part of that fight is absolutely Kyle fanboying over the fact that Simon is in front of him because he's a direct fan, I believe, right?
It's also the
Oh
second
shit! No
time
way.
that like it's also like I know this is gonna be a joke, but like this is gonna be a joke, but like it's the second time a fan has to kill his favorite character, right? With Shadow and Ryuko.
Ah, yes.
Yeah.
I love that that's canonical. Or well,
I
I
like.
suppose technically, since it was from the Twitter thing.
Yeah, I like how they just don't even say the name, but you can tell what
Yeah.
exactly it is because
Yeah.
of how Shao describes it.
I
Like,
mean, who else has
hi,
scissors?
Edward Scissorhand.
Who else has scissors? I think
Okay.
it was that one Danganronpa character.
Oh, and there's probably the dude from what, was it 7, 8, something? Scissor 7?
I think so, yeah.
Oh yes, yes, 7.
Anyway, moving back to the topic at hand. Very good matchup. Probably
Yeah, what
A tier, S tier.
personally put it as an A plus because I really want to see Death Battle tackle these two, especially Hollow Knight.
Oh, absolutely.
If they're gonna do Hollow Knight, they have to do Witch's Void first.
Yeah, that'll probably be the one that they go with, if they go with any of them. Next we've got Mimics from something called Vita Carnis versus SCP-939, which is probably just an SCP that's very much like these Mimics.
Vita Carnis is an analog horror.
Yeah, analog horror versus SCP.
Vita Carnis is like a lot of body horror, a lot of human consumption. Basically, like if nature made animals specifically to eat humans, basically.
Yeah, I get it.
I think that's the gist of it. I don't really know the animation potential of this one since
Yeah,
outside of
'cause-
682,
Yeah.
SCPs aren't necessarily meant for fighting.
Yeah.
Unless you're Scarlet King or 682 specifically. I'm not so sure about the animation potential on this one, but maybe
You
the
can probably
creator
make it
can
work. It'll just take
like
some effort on the part of
work
the
it out.
part of the people doing
Yeah.
it.
Not every fight has to be like a slugfest. It can be a horror fest.
Yes.
It could even be a fight that they don't even see each other. Like not like Walter White versus Light Yagami, I guess.
But more so like a hunt.
Yeah.
Two
Yeah.
predators hunting each other.
Maybe
Or
it's
chasing
more
after
like
the same prey.
more like what we all wanted Jason versus Michael to be.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it could be the Jason versus Michael
I
that
heard
Jason versus Michael wasn't.
I learned that they revealed something about that fight somewhat recently, in that they wanted it to be live action, but the teams that they were pursuing to do it, both of the opportunities fell through, sadly.
Ah, damn.
Oh god.
It would have been amazing in live action, I can feel.
I remember this
But it was
one
a very good effort on the part of, I
Death Battle.
think, Devil Animus
Hot take.
to animate it in a fairly short time frame to make sure that they had something.
I think
I'm
another
gonna say a hot take. I like the episode.
I do, honestly. I think it's pretty good. I think people are sort of attacking it, or at least when it came out, people went a bit too hard on the negativity for it.
Yeah. I get the complaint about it focusing on the victim, but like
That's kind of
that's how the movies work.
Yeah, that's how horror films work for the most part.
That's how it is. It's always on the victims. You rarely ever see the killers.
Yeah.
And when you do
That's
see the
part
killers,
of what
you're
makes them
scared out
so
of your wits.
scary. That you see them
If you continuously see Jason, he loses his scare factor.
Yeah. Alright,
It's like yeah.
Alright, so moving
The
on.
next one.
Risky Boots versus Captain Syrup.
Debatable if it's indie, according to some people.
I mean, I wouldn't mind seeing Death Battle do this as well. I mean, they did Scrooge versus Shovel Knight, and I'm sure they can make this work too. Especially since it's like Wario Land.
This one seems pretty good.
Wario Land.
Have a good old ship battle as well, hopefully. I don't know if Captain Syrup has one, but she's a captain, so she's got to have a ship.
She has to have a ship. It's mandatory to have a ship as a captain. Come on.
I think she had an island.
That's maybe even better. Maybe Risky just invades her island and she fights back.
Yeah. Alright. That one's good. Now we move on to Plague Knight versus Daedara, who I know nothing about.
Yep.
And there's no connections listed here, so do I
Yeah,
review two of the characters?
The art is good, but I don't see something going on here.
Let me look up, because I want to see if anyone's written anything about this one. Okay, I found something.
I tried watching what?
Found someone put it on a Reddit post there. If you can just read that. Explosive wielding members of evil organizations made up of various specialized members. The Akatsuki for Daedara, the Order of No Quarter for Plague Knight, who generally don't care for the organization itself and only care for their own goals.
Yeah, I can see it now.
Oh, it's basic.
It's basic, kinda, but
basic, but it's good.
it works.
Sometimes good matchups have basic connections. It's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd want to see it. I do want to see this now. Yeah.
Not every good/great matchup needs to have a page worth of connections.
I read its novels worth of connections,
Yes.
basically.
Yeah, that's the meaning. Does not need to have a novel's worth of connections.
The next
Seems
one,
decent. Let's move on. Gilded, if you want to say it.
hit Gabriel versus Morgut.
Ultra Kill versus
And before we
Elden
say
Ring.
anything,
That is an
but
interesting combination.
before we say anything else, remember that time they both fought on Geonosis?
Genosis. I don't really get that reference, but can you explain to me what that is?
Look at this! Look at this! Look at the sprite art matchup.
Oh.
It looks good.
Oh, I
Hey,
get it now.
you know what the one thing missing from the sprite art has? The one thing that's missing?
What?
Paid includes paid
Besides the fact it's
promotion.
on. Huh?
Oh yeah.
Includes paid promotion. Get it? Includes paid promotion.
Anyways, I don't remember them being in Star Wars Episode 2, but
it is a pretty good piece of art, all things considered.
It is a
it
good.
is.
It's very good.
I
Especially
still get why they use Geonosis.
Maybe they just had it and thought the arena was a good look.
Maybe.
Anyway,
By the way,
let's
since Sanchez says he doesn't get it,
yeah.
Sanchez, Geonosis is where Mace Windu beheaded Jango Fett in Star Wars.
Yeah. It's where all the it's where the clones first went
But,
into combat in episode 2.
yeah.
But this matchup
Yep.
this matchup seems
It
decent.
seems really good.
Not really much more we can
And is
say
that all
about
I
it,
can
however.
say? Because I
Not really much more we can
haven't played
say
it either.
because yeah, I haven't really played much of either. So we'll move on to another Toho matchup. Yuyuko versus Marluxia, is that how you say it?
I think.
Maluxia. Yeah, I think so.
Toho versus Kingdom Hearts.
That's a good
Oh boy,
combination.
I
I
love
love
what
that.
we're scaling.
Simple connections for the most part, but
And the connections?
seems good.
Yeah.
Whoever made this matchup, push it above and beyond. Make a storyboard out of it. That would be really good. Trust me.
Right, awesome.
Okay, so I remember neither of us said anything about it because this next one because we didn't play either, but maybe Sanchez has. But it's
The
the Marine versus the Commando.
Enter the Gungeon
With the
Into
versus
the
Marine versus
Risk
Gungeon
of
Commander.
versus.
Rain.
I never play Enter the Gungeon or Risk of Rain, but I've seen gameplay footage and I like it.
Do you if you've seen the gameplay, do you get why this one exists?
Yeah.
Alright.
I think so.
Alright,
Okay,
so
what's the next one?
so what is it? Does it seem decent then?
It seems decent for me, yeah. I remember another Marine matchup for the Marine was the Doomslayer.
Oh God!
Yeah. I don't know how high does Enter the Gungeon get? I remember it
No
being
clue.
multi plus.
Huh.
Wait, multi?
Yeah, I think it's been 2 years ever since I seen the stats for it. I may be wrong now,
Huh.
but I remember it being uni or multi, something along those lines.
Neat. Alright, moving on, we got well, that matchup seems decent. We don't know a lot about it. But moving on, we've got Dr. Fetus from Super Meat Boy versus Porky Minch.
I can say something about one half.
Really basic connection of extreme hatred for the protagonist, use mechs in battle. I think Porky probably has better ideas and stuff like. I kind of like Porky versus Cartman of all things. I don't know how.
I don't as much. I foresee. I like Forky
But
versus
I'm
Jack
more.
Horner.
I'm. Ooh. Oh, that actually sounds good. That sounds really good. The Jack from
It
the
did
Puss in
make the
Boots
top
movie,
10 of
right?
the. Yes.
Yeah, that sounds really good. Honestly, that might be my favorite Porky matchup now.
I mean, it sounds like a fun. I mean, I can try to find the connections for you from when we did the Earthbound matchup tier list.
Maybe I don't know. Maybe just DM it to me after we're done here.
Anything from you, Sanchez?
Uh, I've never really seen anything from Super Meat Boy outside of hearing it from the 2010s when I was younger, but I'm sure it can be good.
Alright, we'll move on to Primus from Transformers versus McCain from SCP.
McCain, another SCP
Kane?
matchup. McCain,
However it's pronounced.
Both are ancient robotic deities who
It
represent
seems
all good
decent.
across the universe.
Seems pretty good, especially for
I
SCP
I've
matchups.
never personally heard of both of these, but I would like to have some input on how the fight dynamic would work.
Well, I imagine
I
Primus
don't
fights,
know.
like a transformer. I know nothing about McCain though. Or
Connie,
McCann. But if the dynamic works, then yeah, this one seems great. All right, we skip that one. We skip that one.
Scroll down all the way to Toga versus Neo, which
Uh,
we're counting because we count Ruby as indie.
yes. I don't like this one personally. There's, I think, some ideas for both I like more. I'm not too sure on what idea I like best for Toga, but I know an idea that appeals to me for Neo is her against Nui Harame from Kill the Kill, who also has an umbrella and is pink themed and just sadistic in her own way. Well, a lot more than Neo is, because Neo at least just seems similar levels of evil to Tortrick, which isn't a lot, but I still think Neo against Nuri Harame is just
I
better
have
than
nothing to
this.
say.
I don't know who I want Toga against though. The chick from Danganronpa with the scissors, whatever her name is. There was a G1 blog which
Uh,
had these two and her. I think Toga versus her seems. Alright, let me have a look.
anything you want to say about it, Sanchez?
No, not really.
Oh, here it is.
Yeah.
Toko Fukawa, I believe. I'll just double check. Yeah, Toko Fukawa versus Toga seems pretty right. Alright, moving on. I think we've got Jimmy versus Omori. Jimmy and the
It's
pulsating
Yes, and
mass
an
including that, we have 13 left.
versus Omori.
it's an earthbound. Jimmy and the pulsating math is an earthbound like game, basically. With I think at least to me visually, it looks like something from early 2000s Newground with the style and such. Not much detailed, but it's enough to where it's very nostalgic, basically
Yeah, I can see that.
visually.
Hmm.
RPG classic turn-based combat with some modern sensibilities.
Yeah, it seems pretty decent. I don't know how good it is personally. I've never really interacted with either of them.
Fair.
Gillard, do you
Mm.
have any amount of experience with Omori?
I played a little bit of it, and I do know some things,
Do you think this
but
one seems
I can't
right?
really say anything. It seems alright based off the connections.
Alright, let's move on then to Flowey versus Genie, who is from something called Middens. I've never heard of that, but we all know Flowey.
It is a good matchup from the
Seems like it.
connections.
Yeah, seems like it. Since it takes the more monstrous side of Flowey into consideration.
Middens is an exploration game using collage and original pixel art in tandem that makes the perspective of a drifter traversing a veritable X zone.
Hmm. Alright. I don't know if it's the matchup I want most for Flowey. What would Gilda, I feel like you have an opinion on what you think Flowey's best
I'm
matchup is.
On
seeing art.
Flowey?
Yeah, Flowey, Azrael, that whole character.
I'm seeing art from Middens
It's
and wow, and just wow, it looks like something like if you put a Mega Flowey in this game, he would not look out of place. It has this Bosch like aesthetic, you know, Anonymous Bosch or something along those lines, the painter that paints hell and heaven and the otherworldly garden. It has that art
Uh,
style.
I
Try looking it up.
yeah, I've never seen or heard of that guy before. But Gilded, favorite Flower matchup?
well, it's technically not for Flowey, but for Azrael.
Yeah, that
But for
whole
Azrael, I guess
right. Yeah, that's probably
I
on
think I'm
here
gonna
somewhere.
it's on the second doc.
Right. All right. We'll move on to Arty Artillery versus from Tom and Arty versus Peacock from Skullgirls. which seems to
Pretty simple connections.
it's
Pretty
very
much
simple,
boils
but
down to
seems pretty
wisecracking
alright.
children. Reminds me of Tom and Artie. Reminds me of Sam and Max. I don't know why, but it just does.
Probably
Yeah.
just
The chaotic rabbit, I guess.
Yeah, the chaotic rabbit
yeah.
and like the general animal duo with a chaotic sidekick. They go on wacky adventures.
Hmm.
Tom and Artie versus Sam and Max wouldn't be a bad matchup in my opinion.
Hmm.
Artie Artillery versus Peacock can be entertaining since um, cartoon little shits just going at each other. It's very entertaining, especially with
Hmm.
deadly weaponry in hand.
Alright, well, we all think that one's pretty decent for a simple matchup. So we'll move
Yeah.
on to Lewis from Mystery Skulls versus Duke from Vampire. Another
This one would be a
fairly.
weird combination of death battle and music video.
Hmm.
Because I think Mr. Skulls is a band.
It does seem to be from from the connections list there. It talks about them being from a
I
single artist.
haven't seen Mystery Skulls ever since the 2010s, which is a while ago. Like very, very long ago.
Yeah, I
Seems
got
alright
one of
though.
their songs in my Spotify playlist.
Seems alright.
Okay, this next one. Sanchez, I think you're the maker of this matchup. This next one.
Did we?
Mugman versus Fukia.
That one.
But
This is your
yeah,
matchup, right?
yeah, that's my matchup. Mugman versus Fakua.
All right. Cool.
I think
You can
the
explain it for us.
connections are basically. Hold up. Let me get to it because my phone's acting up again. Both the characters that are color swap versions of the main character and sharing different personality contrasts. Right now the connections are basically like altered at the moment, but this is like the very old connections. But there was one solid connection that makes me really like this matchup. It's not just the personality clash between these two in the banter, but it's also the fact that one joined the protagonist and in order to save and fight a plethora of characters to save their skins, while the other had to fight a plethora of characters just to skin the protagonist. Basically, use
Huh.
her, become her. That's a funny connection, I think. I think this could make like a good joke or a good Halloween episode.
Yeah, leaning
Personally, I remember.
fully into the contrast. It seems alright.
Yeah, I I think there was like Rasputin Psycho. I think brought up specific hacks for Fakua. Like she can take supers and use it to fuel her own super. So basically, at some point in the fight, Mugman's gonna use his super art or his super X, and it's just gonna puff into nothing, and it's just gonna scare the pants off of him. Like, what the hell happened to my super art? Then she's just taunting him by laughing at him or sticking her tongue and just use her own super and hits him with it. That would be a funny visual.
Alright, so pretty good matchup.
Yeah, it's definitely better than we originally thought.
Yeah.
Yeah, I prefer this over a lot of Mugman's other matchups, like Luigi versus Mugman and
Luigi's
other
a pretty
characters versus
basic
Mugman.
one,
Like,
and we all know why that
yeah, it's
exists. But
very
this one's,
basic.
I'll admit, this one seems more likable than Mugman versus Luigi.
It's to me, it's Fuckwa versus Mugman is just more fun compared to Mugman's other options.
Alright, alright. Let's move on to scroll down. Chai from
Hi versus
uh,
Mayday.
it was
Hi-Fi Rush.
Hi-Fi Rush and
Ooh,
then Maydays from No Straight Roads.
oh, I
This
love this one.
is a peak matchup. S tier worthy, I think.
It's probably the peakest of all matchups I've ever seen, especially the
The
aesthetic of these two.
I think
Cell
they
shading,
both
I love
can
it.
exist in a matchup triangle with Eddie Riggs from his game. What was it?
I don't remember that either.
It was the Jack Black. It was Eddie Riggs was played by Jack Black. I've got it in my Steam.
Yeah, I know who
Really have a
Eddie
look.
Riggs is, but I don't remember the name. I feel
God.
like it started with a T.
Brutal Legend.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Brutal Legend.
Hmm.
Which is honestly a very good game. And I think he works against either of these two as well. But I think this is the preferred version of it for most people. But yeah, I'd love to see this. And if you leaned all the way into the rhythm aspect, I think it could be a very
And also,
unique fight.
I think what could sell this matchup to me, I think personally, is like if they add a little bit of 2D effects, not too much, but enough to where, it has that wow factor, especially since they're cel shaded and such.
Yeah. All right, let's move on to Jetstream Sam versus Adam Taurus,
It's
which
not Sam versus Freddy, so
that
it's
is
automatically bad.
that's a peak joke
Is it?
matchup.
Is
But
is this like the Omni Man versus Homelander of sword guy matchups?
I don't know if I'd say that because I mean Jetstream Sam I think should win, but I don't know for sure.
People like Jetstream Sam, so
Yeah, but it also kind of just exists because their their style of combat are fairly similar. Really.
mm.
Uh,
Also the music.
yeah. There's an idea for Adam Taurus I like way more, and it's a matchup I made myself, and it'd be Adam versus Kai Lang from Mass Effect. I'll throw a image up on screen now. Who is basically just Adam. They're basically the same character in so many ways. I mean, they look the same. They've got similar masks over their eyes. They're both absolute bastards. They're not
Bastards.
very well liked by the fans.
Everyone hates them.
Yeah, they're both race. They're both basically, I'd say, supremacists for their races. Kai Lang is a human. He works with the Cerberus organization, and then obviously Adam is a Faunus terrorist. Yeah, I just think that one works a lot better. I don't know about Sam though. I've heard a few here and there. I don't know which one I like the most. I'd have to look up his ideas. Not to say this one isn't. Not to say that this one is bad, but I think it's just kind of meh.
I wouldn't be opposed to seeing this actually.
I'm not
I think
against
it can
seeing an
work.
animation. I just don't think I'd like it as a
Yeah.
whole thing over other ideas. But moving on. Next, we've got Relius Clover from Blast Blue versus Jaehyun.
Blaze Blue.
I could be saying
Is
that
that how it
wrong, but I will.
Blaz
I'm pretty confident
Blast
that
Blue?
Blast Blue is how you say it, because I think if you
I thought it
listen
was Blaze
to
Blue.
Blaze Blue, yeah, sorry, I'm remembering.
Blast Blue.
Sorry, I'm now just realizing that that I'm remembering how Ragnar says it now. So yeah, Blaze Blue
Ah,
versus Jaehyun from Library of Runa. Runa?
I've never heard of Library of Runa,
I have
but I would like
no
to see
idea.
some.
The name is familiar to me. I just don't know what it is.
If you abbreviate it, it sounds like lore. Library of Runa lore, and
Hmm.
we're gonna have to look through lore now.
Ah,
Yeah, this one seems pretty decent for characters I know
It
nothing
looks
about.
good. I mean, it can spread into the devout community with enough effort. I think. I mean, Dynamite Heady, was pretty much a who, but now at least some people know it. I have
Thanks to you
full faith
spearheading it,
this
I think.
matchup can work. Yeah,
Yeah.
I have full faith this matchup can be a great one.
I mean, there's a little behind the scenes thing here for Fatal Flights, series that Gilded and I work on. We were initially considering Rayman versus Hetty for our premiere episode, but we sort of shifted away from that and went to Rayman versus Klonoa. But my point there is
Oh
that
yeah,
you're right in that Hetty is
uh,
getting a popularity boost thanks to you spearheading Cuphead versus
yeah,
Hetty,
it's just
which we will be discussing in the next episode. And
yeah,
your spearheading is the reason that we put it in the tournament.
yeah. Like it wasn't just simple spearheading. I strapped it to a nuke and I just flung it to everyone's way.
Yeah. All right. We'll skip that one because it's in the TIC, and then
Spearheading.
we've got Agent Texas versus Gabura from something called Lobotomy Corporation.
Oh
Simple
god,
connections here,
lobotomy.
but yeah, seems fine.
Hmm.
Just headstrong AI who are built by shady
Is it bad that
organizations in an attempt to bring back a member of that organization who had died in battle.
The current gen has ruined the word lobotomy for me. I cannot hear that word without cracking a smile now.
All right, well, simple matchup. We'll continue to
But
move
it's a good
on.
matchup.
Yes. Next we've got V versus V2, which does anyone, either of you two, know anything about this?
no?
Not much connections.
I mean, it's probably just based on killer robots
The
plus
names.
names or something like that. I don't know. Murder Drones is good though, and Ultra Kill is a pretty good game, so everyone should watch Murder Drones and play Ultra Kill if they have the chance. Another SCP matchup next. SCP-953 versus
Kitsune.
a Hisuian Zoroark. Yep,
Kitsune,
just
basically.
Yes.
Like killer canids or killer anthropomorphic foxes.
Yeah, fox shapeshifters were, I guess, malevolent.
They see their
Yeah,
enemies and they, yeah. And I'm not so sure
just
about 953 in a death battle. She hardly does anything outside of
just
kill soldiers.
yeah, SCP
And I'm not
fights.
so sure if she can stack up against a Pokemon of all things.
All right, just your average SCP matchup then. Well, and Pokemon just because it's a random.
And there's another one.
We've got Franklin Richards from Marvel Comics versus SCP-239. Just
How would this one
child
go?
reality
Franklin's.
warpers.
Yeah, I think Franklin's one of the strongest in the Marvel universe.
Yeah,
Franklin is like
but I honestly wouldn't
broken
be
from what I've
surprised.
heard.
I wouldn't be surprised if SCP scales higher as a verse for this for 239 to beat Franklin. But I honestly don't know.
Especially,
They
I,
both just get pretty fucking high though.
especially since like Boundless Marvel is like not a thing currently, thanks to the One Above All not being all that high anymore.
Oh,
I think it was from the Death Battle Discord. It was discussed that the DC universe, like at its fullest, is boundless, but Marvel is no longer boundless
huh,
because the One Above All was retconned to not be, the literal god of that universe anymore.
damn. All right. Well, we can move on to the final one of this list and finish up because we've been talking for over an hour now. We've got
Yeah, we can save the next doctor later.
we got a fairly simple one here: Green Knight from Castle Crashers versus Plague Knight from Shovel Knight, which just exists because they're both green. Really?
Green. Two green-clad knights that specialize their bombs and or poisons are about to clash in a fight to the death. I get it. Yeah, it sounds cool. I've never personally seen Castle Crashes before, but I'll look into it and I'll
It's a
see if my mind.
sort of like a side-scrolling game, co-op game. I think it's probably considered a beat 'em up. I don't know. You'd have to look. Well,
Yeah, it's kind of a beat 'em up. I think it started on Newgrounds actually. It's kind of like an Alien Hominid situation.
yeah, I could see it.
It's like a beat 'em up, right?
Seems to be from my memory.
Yeah, I'd say that.
My interest is peaked on this one, especially on how Hollow Knight works when it comes to their powers and abilities and how they use it.
You mean Shovel Knight?
Shovel Knight, yes. My memory nowadays is really
I,
fucked. I'm
my
turning 23, and
I
it's
mean, when you're
already
dealing with stuff with all
my
these
memory's
similar sounding names, it gets
yeah,
hard to cross over. All right.
yeah.
I just gotta say, if there was a Castle Crashers matchup, I'd rather it be all of them instead
Yeah,
of just one of them.
a matchup that
Like
uses all
all the
four of them
Castle
would be
Crashers
nice.
versus all of the multicolored Toonlings or something. I remember that being a
Kinda,
matchup.
yeah.
That doesn't sound like a bad animation at the very least. All right. We're done then.
We can save 4.5 for 4.5.
Yeah, we'll have a bonus episode come out next, and then the final episode, which we'll talk about again when the next video comes out, will be the last one of those little series, and we'll be going through all the matchups, the 32 that we included in the tournament, and we will be ranking them in a tier list. That'll be it for the tournament, and
Okay.
we have been heavily. I don't know if I mentioned this before already. I can't remember if we mentioned it at the end of episode 3 or in the last time we recorded episode 4 in the bonus. But we are heavily considering doing another tournament next springtime.
Yeah.
We're doing some sort of prep for it, but we're not solidly down on whether we're doing it or not yet. And
Yeah, what he says.
I want to say thank you to Sanchez for joining us today.
You're welcome.
Filling in the spot that was left empty for reasons that I won't get into here, but if you know, you know. And Gilded, you were saying something?
No, I wasn't really.
Oh, alright. Well, thank you all for watching, and we will see you next time.
See ya, folks.
See ya.